Get this going real quick. Just need to get the camera ready. People to show up. Marmaduke. You gotta entertain the guests over here, Mr. Duke. No, what do you? God damn it, Duke! Look what you did. Okay, let's hold that good right there. All right, Marmaduke, come here, Duke. Marmaduke, here. Look, you're on camera. You're live on YouTube. It's all about you. It's all about Mr. Duke. Man, I love Mr. Duke. Oh, he just burped in my face. What is wrong with you? You're still a pretty boy. Wait for some more people to get in. Oh, we got one person so far. Let's wait for a few more, huh? We'll wait for a few more, Mr. Duke. Wait for some more people. There we go. Let's get that stuff out of your ears. If anybody's watching, we are just waiting for a few more people to show up. Hopefully, maybe 10, 15, 20 more. That would be nice. So maybe you have a tick right here. I hate ticks. Yeah. You're so pretty. I love you. Now look at the camera. There you go. Oh, y'all go lay down. Go lay down, Costa. Go. Thank you. Okay. Do we got anybody in the chat? Anybody? Dude, go get your phone. Go get your phone. Yeah, go get your phone. Check the chat. Check the chat, Mr. Duke. Guess we'll check. Another one. Let's see here. Duke is a great guy. Yeah, definitely. Why does it say I have no viewers? That is so weird. I got 1 like and no viewers, and I got Alex here in the chat. Hi, Alex. That pisses me off because that always tells me, I don't know. It messes with me. I don't know if anybody's actually watching, you know. Duke, get down, buddy. Lay down. Let's see here. YouTube real quick. Make sure it's actually showing good like I want it to. And once everything is good, we'll go ahead and actually start. Hey Alex, since you're on, can you tell me how many people are watching, if it's different on your side? Yeah, I'll take this one. Okay, it says 1 person, 1 like still. I saw your video in Jacksonville wherever I go and have been following you since. Well, thank you. That's pretty cool. All right, so we got 2 people in. Am I sounding pretty good? Does Marmaduke look pretty good? I love the content. Keep going strong, man. Thank you. I love you. Hey, you too. Go lay down, guys. Okay? All right. Oh. This guy right there. I gotta deal with that later. All right. Wait for some more people to come in. Got Mr. Duke over here. Being done. Children, chill out over there. Looks like 2. Yeah, sadly. That's the problem with live videos and small streamers. All right, down. I'm gonna give it at least another, I don't know, 15 minutes. I want to try to give enough people time to actually get in, because I literally got a whole list of questions that people have been asking. So let's see here. What is up with my Wi-Fi on this phone? I gotta run to a friend's place, but best of luck, man. All right, see ya. Thanks for coming. Manage certificates. Hey, what are y'all doing? Can y'all chill over there? Jesus Christ. Cross tie. Hey, I said enough. Lay down. Y'all been at it all day. Let's keep this, try to get this straight. Got it right there. I swear they're dumb as hell sometimes. I love them. Alex, what have you been doing, man? Anything good? What is up with this phone? Seriously. Do I have an update I need to do? We're going at it again. Now we've got 2 people on. Sweet. Hi, Mom. Just waiting for some more people to show up. Hopefully it won't be too long. Let's see here. Device. Okay, let's see here. Ice information? Seriously? Marmaduke, your grandma's asking for you. Come here. Come here. While the other 2 sleep. Hey, come here. This way. This way. This way. There you go. Who's that? Look, right there. On the phone. Who is that? It's your grandmother. She's right there. She's right there. Oh, you're just a pretty boy. You're my pretty handsome young man. There you are. All right, go play with the others. Oh, ow, jerk. Oh. This is the problem with being a small YouTuber, is you can put out all the notifications you want, and only a small amount of people are gonna watch, which kind of sucks, but whatever. I'll give it about another 10 minutes and then I'll start officially. I'm trying to figure out how this works. Cross tie. Can you go lay down? Thank you. So much walking, hiking with my dogs. Yeah. Try it cross country. It hurts. Hey, 4 people. Trim your mustache, beard, and hair. No, this is my signature look. This is me. Why would I can't do that. I mean, if I walked in on the front yard, Pops is gonna be there with a shotgun, not realizing it's me. Got 4 people so far. Sweet. Just waiting on some more. You ready? Less than 10 minutes, Duke. You're answering half of these things. I hope you know that. Make sure I got all these written out. All the access questions. The FAQs. Yes, everything's there. Okay. These right there. Grab me a drink real quick. I'll be right back. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, stop. Alright, sweet. That's done with. Guys, go lay down. Alright. About 5 more minutes. I'll be ready. Alright, cross tab, bring you over here. Your grandmother wants to see you. God damn it, Abby. Hey, get out of there. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on. Oof. Cross tie, come here. Cross tie. Come here. Grandma's on YouTube here. Hey, come here. Come here. I'll give you a treat when we're done. Come here. Look, you're on YouTube. Look at that. You're on YouTube. I swear you guys are crazy as hell. Seriously. Everybody lay down. I walked from Alabama to California 5 years ago. It almost killed. Yeah, but that's California though. Anything related to California is gonna kill you. Cross tie, come here. Cross tie, come here. Cross tie, come here. Stop. Stop. Oh, stop, Abby. Hey, chill out. I will make your aunt whoop you with a belt when we get down to Texas. You better chill out. Oh God, can this chair come up any higher? Seriously. About 2 more minutes. Turn this off. See if I can do it. Abby is laying over here trying to attack the hell out of Cross Tie. I don't know what it is with them two, but seriously, they've been at it all day. She looked like she's about to pass out. Oof, that's cold. Hey, you know, with my teeth being gone, with 2 of my teeth being gone now, I can actually drink cold stuff. It feels amazing. Every time I get drinks, I gotta let it be cold. I gotta let it cool off or warm up or whatever, just so I can drink the damn things. It feels so amazing. Abby, what am I gonna do with you, Mama? Let's see. You ready, Duke? It's almost time. We've got 1 more minute. 1 more minute, Marmaduke. this is why I need to get a second phone. One more minute. Less than a minute, Marmaduke. Come here. There you go. Hi. You're so gorgeous. I love you. I love you. Be like, April, I know you're watching. I know you're watching. I miss you. Roar, roar, roar. All right, let's see here. All right, so we got at least 4 people from what it's showing. I don't know, YouTube sucks. I need to find another platform to go on to. Hello, everybody. My name is the Texas Roadrunner. For those who don't know, I am from Lufkin, Texas, and I've been on the road for 9 years now. This is my second Q&A. Last one I did was about a year ago, and if everything goes good tonight, I do want to try to make this a monthly thing, if possible, once a month. Right here, I got literally a full page of questions. Front page is everything that people on YouTube have asked me. And then on the back, I have literally an FAQ, questions I get asked literally almost every day. You know, where do you know, how do you do this, that, and the other? To the point where Marmaduke gets tired of it. So if you guys have questions in the comments, I will be watching. Please ask. Don't hesitate. I'm just as nervous as everybody else because I hate doing live videos, but I don't know what the hell happened. I literally did a 3-part video of this when we were out near Cushing, Oklahoma, and when the rainstorm hit us the next day, I guess the water came in my phone and all of my video files were completely gone that was related to it. So and that's the reason why we're doing this live. Hey, everybody go to bed. What? Abby, stop. Enough. Weirdos. All right, anyways. So since, let's see, Alex is already in the chat, I'm going to go with him first. Alex wants to know, I want to hear stories about Xena and Avery and childhood stories if possible. For those who don't know, Xena and Avery, Xena originally was my first service dog. She helped me with my autism. And I had her from 2017 to 2021, March 2021. I remember that exactly because that was actually the same month when I got my driver's license. And I only had it for 2 weeks, and then Xena ended up getting killed by another dog we had. Avery was her quote-unquote daughter, kind of like how Marmaduke was her son. That's how she treated him. Avery sadly died 5 months later, and that was from kidney failure. So for a while, it was just me and Marmaduke, you know, and I can do with just me and Duke, but if I lose Marmaduke, I'm on my own, and I can't have that. You know, that's one of the reasons why I always have 2 to 3 dogs at a time, because if I don't have any dogs with me, I can't function. I really can't. People think I'm lying. I can't function anymore without dogs. Stories on Xena and Avery. Well, to put it simple, Xena was this very loving, timid dog. You know, she was at the point where you could walk her without a leash. She hated riding trains, but she'd still ride them regardless. I remember, and this is Xena and Avery both. This was right before we went to Brit back in 2019. My phone had died, and hey, chill out. My phone had died, and we were in Clovis, New Mexico, which coincidentally is where I had my train accident, which I'll talk about later. My phone had died, and we were at the time. Hey, Captain's on. What's up, buddy? Anyways, at the time we were trying to head out west, So we get on Santa Fe, and when you're heading west from Clovis, it'll take you all the way to the yard in Belen, New Mexico. And what I'd forgotten at that time was the yard in Belen is completely hot. When I say hot, I mean there's literally you got workers and bulls going up and down the yard on 4-wheelers and trucks. You got lights everywhere. It's to the point where I literally thought we were gonna get caught because cross tie stop because Avery at the time, kind of like how Abby is, she would completely just start barking at everybody. And for the most part, I didn't mind it because it was helpful. But in this situation where I'm trying not to get caught, it was a complete nightmare. And I did the one thing I always tell people never to do, and I will never do this again. I had to crawl under the trains because I had so much stuff at that time that it was the only way to actually get out of the yard without being seen. And finally, I was able to get to the edge of the yard where this little creek or bayou, whatever the hell this thing is, runs out to the main road. And then we got to McDonald's after that. But yeah, that was probably the scariest, at that time, the scariest moment I had with Xena and Avery. Because I really thought I was going to have another 2018 episode where I was going to get arrested. And it was Santa Fe too, which didn't help. Xena was just always that loving mother kind of dog. She had I think 1 or 2 litters before I had her because I got her when she was about 2 years old, and she was always this mother loving dog. I remember when we got Marmaduke over here, for example. He was from that time. Marmaduke was about a month to a month and a half old, and he would walk around. He wouldn't have his eyes open most of the time. I don't think Marmaduke had his eyes open until I think like a week after I got him. But we were in the truck of the people who gave me to him, or who gave him to me. My bad. I'm congested right now. I'm sorry. Anyways, and he was in the back whining, and the girls were in the back, and this was right after Brit. So Xena comes up to him and starts licking the top of his head and lays on him, and he stops whining. And that's just how good of a mother she was, you know. I remember when Avery got pregnant by Marmaduke, of all people. I don't know. I guess it's an Arkansas thing. Sorry. Anyways, I remember when she was pregnant and she gave birth, we had the puppies for about a month, maybe 2 months at the time. And they were walking around in my living room. And I had a video of this on Facebook. And Xena basically was able to scoop one of the puppies back into the little group of puppies we had. That's just how good of a mother she was. And it wasn't only towards pups, it was towards humans too. If we were at like a church or something, there'd be times where if a child is crying and we're right there, because a lot of times they want to see Xena. And so I would bring Xena over to them and she would immediately be able to get them to stop crying. That's just how good of a dog she was. She was very loving, very caring. It was at the point where I didn't even have to have any gear. I didn't have to have a bedroll, nothing. She was able to, and the Avery too, they were able to go out and hunt, which now Cross Time Marmaduke do. So I miss my girls a lot. Uh, People always ask me if there's one thing you can go back in time and stop, what would it be? It would be the deaths of Xena and Avery. I know if that happens, I probably wouldn't have Cross Tie and Abby. But it's something, I'll put it this way, I get riddled with guilt all the time because of the fact that a lot of people, I'm not going to name who, but a lot of people in my family told me it was basically my fault for both of them dying, especially Xena. And Marissa here in the chat, my adopted mother, she was literally on the phone with me for a whole hour that night, and I couldn't hold it in. I broke down crying. Uh, we talked for an hour. I couldn't hold it in. I don't remember much of what we talked about, but it helped a lot because she, along with Cooter, when me and him were still friends, she was the only one, and Aaron, I should bring him up. She was really the only one that was willing to sit and talk with me about the whole thing, and try to console me. Nobody else really, other than Cooter and Aaron, were willing to even talk to me about it. I don't know why. My mother didn't want to talk to me about it. Nobody else, for whatever reason, even called to make sure we were okay. Not that I remember of, at least. So, Marissa, I love you. Thank you for all that. Let's see, childhood stories. Wow, that's a tough one. My childhood was basically right in the middle, where kids were still outside, but not all of them were. So I lived in San Angelo from 98 to 2005, and then from 2005 to 2008 I was in Houston. So when I lived in San Angelo, almost every kid I knew at that time, we were all outside. We were playing with sticks and, going around the neighborhood and all that other crap. When I moved to Houston, we were still doing the same thing, but there really wasn't that much kids around, and I mean, there were, but they weren't outside. So I feel like I was probably that last breed of kids who thought that being outside was more important, because I really wasn't a fan of video games at that time. I mean, I like Fallout and I like the Elder Scrolls and stuff like that, but outside of that, I don't care much for video games. Even still to this day, I mean, I got 3 dogs to take care of. I don't care about video games. But at that time, Xbox was coming out and PlayStation 2 and all this other stuff. So mainly I was just by myself most of the time. I had my younger brother, but he wanted to go play video games. That's all he cared about for a while. Both of them, actually. Hi, Duke. What do you need, buddy? Hi. There's something right there in the middle. I'll screw it. Anyways, so yeah, I was usually by myself most of the time, and when I was playing with kids my age, we were all, the usual. Hey, I'm doing a video. What are you doing? Here, you're gonna knock the phone over. Is what you're gonna do. Whoa! Come on, down. There you go. Anyways, we did the usual. Everybody played Army. We literally lived right next to the bayou in like the northwest side of Houston. And I remember hey, children, enough. I remember actually when Hurricane Katrina and Rita both hit, and I did a video on this. But I remember it was the first time I've ever been in storms like that. And I remember seeing the water rise, and they eventually had to tear the bridge that went over the bayou down, because they wanted to expand the bayou out so it wouldn't flood in our area, and they never put a bridge back over it. It was the most annoying thing ever, because my grandparents, hey, enough. My grandparents lived about 3/4 of the mile down the road, and the only way to get to them was to walk over the bridge to get down there. And when they tore the bridge down, we had to walk a quarter to a half a mile in the opposite direction, come back around, and then walk a mile to a mile and a quarter down the road. It was that annoying. I mean, I think I had a pretty good childhood, when we lived in San Angelo, my biological mother, she was a dispatcher for the city, and she would get free tickets and stuff like that to go to different events. She would take us to go see hockey, which is where I got my love of hockey from. But she would also take us to the train museum, which is the old Santa Fe station. And that's where I got a lot of my love of trains from. And the first time I saw the hobos was they have, I don't know if it's still there, and I've been there in years, but on the second floor, they had an exhibit that, like, one part of the wall was nothing but hobos. So that was where I first saw hoboing from. And this was like back in the early 2000s when South Orient was in a. Hey, enough. Y'all chill out. Dude, come here. That was back when South Orient was still in its prime. They're still there now, but not like they used to be. What was his other questions? He also asked, do you cook on the road and do you cook for the dogs? I do cook 90% of the time. 90 to 95% of the time I am cooking. If I am not cooking, I'm usually eating either at McDonald's or Casey's, depending on what part of the country I'm in. I actually have my food bucket over here. Our meals mainly consist of canned meat, soups. If I have the means to do it and I can make a homemade oven out of clay or whatever, I can make hardtack. Which when you're doing it in a homemade oven, it takes a lot more. Excuse me. Hold on. There we go. Anyways, when you're doing it in a homemade oven, it takes a lot longer. I don't know why. It's a pain in the ass. But we make hardtack. We'll make if we have the ingredients, we'll make bread. We'll make all this different stuff. Ramen. The only ramen I like eating is the green chili ramen. But if I can't find it, I'll just get a regular pack of ramen, beef, chicken, whatever, and I'll add different spices and stuff like that to it to give it a better taste. Because ramen eventually you just get sick of it. But then at the same time, when you realize you can add so much stuff to it, it actually tastes a hell of a lot better. Rice and beans, we'll deal with that too. You know, of course, the everybody's favorite, the mulligan stew. We'll make that every now and then with whatever we have left. The dogs, most of the time, they get a gravy train since it's the one we can afford the most. But if I have the money, I'll go ahead and I'll go get cooking oil. I'll get chicken or whatever meat they have on hand, and I'll get rice and I'll fry all of that, and then I'll mix it in with their gravy train, and that will be their meal for a day or two. You know. Oh, let's see. Everyone's favorite friend, Larch asked, and I'm paraphrasing on some of these questions. I didn't have a lot of room. He says, I'm curious about your experiences with coincidences and hoboing over the years. So back in 2016, I was on the road for about a year and a half, 2 years, somewhere around there. I was coming back down from Oregon. I took a Greyhound. I know, kill me later. And I think it was either Dalhart or some town north of Amarillo, but I get off and I ended up hitchhiking all the way to Amarillo. And from what I remember, I was probably there for about 3 or 4 days. And I was looking at the map and I read it wrong. I thought the track I was on was going to take me down to Lubbock, and then I was going to take a train all the way over to Dallas and Fort Worth, and then over to Marshall, and then get off in Marshall, and then hitchhike down to Lufkin. Well, I took the wrong one. This was actually when I had my accident. I took a train all the way from Amarillo, and it took me to Clovis. And then I think like the next day was when I had my accident. I fell off the side of this eastbound train because I was using a large Alice pack, and it was so heavy. I remember it very well. It was so heavy. I was a fucking greenhorn, of course. And I ended up falling off the side of the car because I couldn't hold on to the sidebars long enough to pull myself up. I ended up going face first into the gravel, and I split my forehead open. And luckily, an employee, I think he was either an engineer from another train or whatever, he ended up seeing it and called it in. They ended up rushing me to the hospital. I get offered this job to work at a farm over in Texaco. And 3 days later, I go into town because there's no Wi-Fi at this farm. Okay, the nearest Wi-Fi point, it was this place right across the street from the gas station, about a mile or so down the road. I get to the Wi-Fi point, and I get like 20 to 25 different missed calls from my mother and a couple other people. Apparently, on the same track I was just on 3 or 4 days prior, was when the that was when those two Santa Fe trains collided, and there was that huge fireball in the Panhandle of Texas. This was back in 2016. I was on that very same track 3 days prior. And yeah, you want to talk about coincidences? That scared the shit out of me when I found out about it. I stopped riding for like a month, staying on the farm because I was too scared to. I'll be honest, I was too scared to go out there and ride on Santa Fe at the time. I think that's why Stove always called him FNBS, because there's fucking bullshit. Oh man, I can't really think of any other coincidences. Not that I can remember of. Nothing that comes to mind. Let's see. Climbing around, I cut off half of his question because I didn't want to answer that one. He says, how and when did you hit the road, and why did you decide to do so? So, the first train I took, and I think he's actually on, I'm not going to say his real name, Gringo Bandito, he also goes by Texgoth. I met him back in 2010. I was walking around downtown Lufkin. I'd only been there for like a year and a half, 2 years, somewhere around this point. And I used to have this yellow Union Pacific t-shirt. I don't remember what the hell happened to it. But he sees it, and we start talking, and come to find out, he used to hobo around for a little bit. And he ended up teaching me how to do it. So I took, hey, stop your whining. Sorry. He ended up teaching me how to ride, and A&R, which is Angelina and Neches River Railroad, they were the first company in Lufkin I ever rode. First company I ever rode. And if you want to think about it, it was a good thing, because in Lufkin, all we have is the bus system. A&R goes around through most of Lufkin, as well as the west part of Angelina County. So if you want to go anywhere like downtown Lufkin, south towards Diboll, all the way over into the Clawson Central area, or even to the northern parts of Redland, you want to ride A&R, because they literally will move the freight around for all the companies there. So I rode them for a little bit. 2014 comes around. I had already graduated high school. And I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I was 17. I wanted to join the military. But I found out later on that because I have autism, excuse me, because I have autism, I was automatically medically disqualified. So I can't join the military. They won't let me. And I just couldn't figure out what else I wanted to do. I had an apartment for about a month and a half. This place in Lufkin that used to be called the Alamo. Worst fucking neighborhood. One of the worst neighborhoods in Lufkin. I hated that area. There's gunshots every couple of nights. Fucking guy downstairs was supposedly fucking Mexican mafia. Ooh. It was just a shitty area. And then my roommates I had at the time, they decided that I wasn't keeping up with my end of the deal, even though I was the only one working. The rest of them, because I found out later on, since I didn't know this stuff, they had very bad mental issues, and I wasn't aware of this. I'm not going to go through what it was, but they were on disability checks for a reason, okay? And they had more money coming in than I did. I was working at Cracker Barrel at the time as a waiter. They somehow took my name off the lease and changed the locks, and then sold most of my instruments. So when I got back one night, they had all the rest of my stuff in the middle of the living room, and then all my instruments, guitars and everything, were sold. So I ended up going through what I could, and and I'm pissed off, and they're yelling at me and all this other shit. I ended up leaving with a bedroll wrapped around me. And hey, Lambo, how are you? Ugh. Get myself up here real quick. There we go. Whoa, almost fell. Anyways, yeah, I ended up leaving with a bedroll and like a small pack or something, and I didn't tell my parents that I was leaving. Or at least I don't think I did. I don't remember. But I ended up taking the next freight train that was going south, because the main UP line that runs through Lufkin is Shreveport to Houston. So I ended up going to Houston, and I just been going ever since. I mean, I tried settling down a few times. I suck at it. I can't wake up every day with the same four walls around me and doing the same job every day, especially when I got the dogs over here. You would think that the dogs are great motivation, and they are, to work and shit, but I've learned how to live without money for the most part. I don't need to be working every day just to get what I want. I know how to get what I want without money, and most of the time it's because people throw shit out all the time. So I hope that answers this question. All right, what else we got here? Oh man, he has like 4 different questions on here. All right, YouTuber You Go Too Slow wants to know, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Still doing this, hopefully. How has being a hobo changed your outlook on life? That's a good question. I don't know how to explain it really. I'll put it this way. When I first started, I was still 17. And I remember, I guess because of how young I was, I remember feeling helpless in a way. And I remember feeling that I was a target. I still feel like that, honestly, to an extent. But I felt like I was a target to everybody because, here's this young kid, impressionable kid, who believes everything he's told at the time. And, John Wick 206. Stove got killed back in 2017 by an Amtrak train. He was in Baltimore, if I remember correctly, and he was walking on a bridge, a rail bridge that didn't have a walking path on the side of it. And Amtrak came by. If you've never seen Amtrak goes faster than a freight train most of the time. And he didn't have enough room, from what we were told at least, he didn't have enough room to get on the side of the bridge to where he wouldn't get hit. And the train caught his pack and drug him in and killed him. So that was about 5 years ago. Jesus, I still watch his videos every now and then. It's kind of hard to watch it. That's yeah. That was one hell of a year when he died. But anyways, yeah. When I was 17, I was impressionable. I've always believed that everybody was after me, and there was a lot of instances where a lot of times when I was hitchhiking, it seemed like a lot of people who were picking me up were gay guys, especially older. And it was always creepy. I do remember, hey, stop whining. I do remember one time I actually did have to pull a knife out on a guy who picked us up because he literally tried to touch me down there. Hi, Marmaduke. And that was right before I got Xena. When I got Xena, that's when all that shit stopped. So, and then we got Mr. Duke, and he makes it even better. But anyways, yeah, it was scary at that time, but I learned how to live off the land eventually. I learned how to dumpster dive for more than just cans, because all I knew was collecting cans at the time. I knew how to find work, and I knew how to live without having to be a bum about it. I still to this day have never flown a sign for money or anything. I don't believe in doing that stuff. That's one of the and this isn't me. Oh my god, I hate being congested. This isn't me attacking the guy, but that's one of the reasons why I don't like watching Shoestring, because when you actually know the guy, all he does for the most part, he'll go around claiming to be a vet, but then he'll also hold a sign asking for money. He'll make so much money off a sign, flying a sign. And this isn't just coming from me. There's a lot of us who actually know the guy who will tell you the same thing. He makes so much money doing that stuff. And then he'll come back later on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, and start telling people that he needs more money and that he can afford his medications or whatever. So that's the reason why I ended up not being friends with him anymore and distancing myself, because I don't stand for that shit. When you're like myself and you're able to actually work, whether you want to do it full time or not, there's no reason why you should be at a street corner waiting, holding a sign, expecting the good grace of the local people to just hand you cash when you haven't worked for it. There's no, how do you put it? I would never feel right if I was at a street corner asking for money. And not even just a street corner, just in general. If I didn't work for it, I don't feel right about it. It feels wrong. Even when people randomly hand you cash to help you. I mean, that's nice and all, but it just feels wrong. That's, to me, that's not hoboing. That's bumming. You're basically being a bum. I don't care if you got the word hobo in your name. If the only thing you know how to do is hold a sign and ask people for money, you're just a bum. That's the way I look at it. So, anyways, sorry. I've learned how to live off the land. I learned how to dumpster dive and do all the other stuff. And while doing so, it has shown me how to put it, how to basically live without money, as I was talking about earlier. How to live without having a house, how to live, basically live without having to basically interact with society. I just spent the last 3 days walking here, 20 something miles. Took me 3 days to walk because I have so much stuff. I had to get this wagon replaced, and finally somebody helped me replace the wagon. But I've learned how to do all that from years of hoboing, because I realized the last couple of years I don't even need to be having my thumb out. As long as I got my wagon and I got my dogs attached to it, I'm fine. There's a question on the back here, and I'll explain in a minute how I do all that. But that's basically how I look at my life now. It's that, to put it simple, if I needed to go under an overpass, in a cave, in a tunnel, or whatever, Ludir, is it your birthday? If it's your birthday, I'll say happy birthday. Sure. Oh wow, 15 people. Holy shit. Anyways, yeah, if I needed to go and live under an overpass or in a cave or whatever, I know how. And that's because of all the shit I've learned hoboing. So it's basically given me a better appreciation for this lifestyle, without having to rely on other people. As long I feel like, hold on. Anyways, I feel like as long as I got my dogs, I'm fine. That's all I care about, really. Other than my mother and my sister in East Texas and the rest of the family, I don't care about anything else. What's his other questions? What does it mean to you to be and live this hobo lifestyle? Jesus, I don't even know how to answer that one, honestly. basically, to me, I feel like I'm keeping up a dying tradition, a good one for the most part, which goes on to his last question too. Um, I feel like I'm keeping up probably one of the best traditions here in America. You know, I don't remember. I think it was either Burlington Northern or somewhere around there, one of the old rail companies in the Northwest. The CEO or owner, whoever the hell, you know, he understood hoboing. He understood that it was the American hobos, even before the Great Depression, who built America. You know, we laid the rail lines, we made the roads, we did this, that, and the other. He knew that. And he always, hey, let's see, is that Lizzie or Izzy? I can't tell. Either way, hi. Anyways, he knew it was important to have hobos. And because of that, he always let the hobos ride free. That's why you don't really, like I said, I can't remember what company it was, but his company specifically would always allow people to ride on the trains for free, unless they were fucking around with the cars, and then that's one thing. But hey, stop whining. Anyways, you know, he would always let them ride free, and again, because he knew that America needed us. You know, and it sucks now because you tell people you're a hobo and they automatically just assume you're a homeless bum. You know, and I feel like I feel like that's one of the main purposes for my YouTube channel was trying to show that there's more to hoboing than just, you know, the homeless guy with the backpack walking down the highway, you know. But I don't know. I like this lifestyle. I love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything else in the world. I'm never gonna stop. Never. Even if I was in a wheelchair, I'd still do it. Hey, stop. Duke, lay down. His last question, which basically was the previous one I just said, is the Great American Hobo going extinct? And sadly, to an extent, yes. The problem is with hoboing is since the 80s and 90s, it has basically birthed a whole new culture, and that's with the dirty kids. And don't get me wrong, I don't hate the dirty kids. I'm friends with a lot of them. But to me, being a hobo and being a dirty kid to me is two different things. But the dirty kids try to intersect with they try to intersect both traditions or lifestyles together, and I don't agree with that. Um, I feel like if you're a hobo, you're a hobo. If you're a dirty kid, you're a dirty kid. You know, dirty kids, they're basically the gutter punk rock. And there's a lot of similarities. I'm not going to doubt that, or I'm not going to deny that. But again, to me, it's just two different traditions or two different lifestyles. And I feel like most people who say they're hobos are actually dirty kids or gutter punks. Hey, stop your barking without realizing it. And when you actually look at all the people who are hobos, who aren't gutter punks or dirty kids, there's really not that much. You know, you have me obviously. Anywhere Man, he's a really good one. I like his videos. Hobo Mud, he was a good one. I miss him. I haven't talked to him in a couple years. He took his channel down after he settled down. He took all his videos and everything off. That really sucked. I wish I saved his videos if I knew he was going to do that. Obviously, Hobo Stowe, but he's dead. He's been dead for 5 years now, and I just explained why. There's really not a lot of actual. You got a bunch of train riders, sure, and that's again a lot of most of them are gutter punks, but you don't actually have a lot of the hobos who actually do it traditionally like I do. You know, I do go from town to town looking for work. That's what a hobo is, a traveling migrant worker. Okay? Doesn't matter if they ride trains or walk or hitchhike or, you know, like I did with the van, you know, doing the rubber tramping, it doesn't matter. You know, as long as they're going from town to town looking for work, They're hoboing. That's just the way it is. God, I hate video. Every time I try to do a video, I'm always congested with something. So, do I believe it's going extinct? Sadly, yes. Just not anytime soon with me being alive. All right, so my Marissa here wants to know how do you handle heat, rain, or cold when you're on the train? So I'll start with the cold since that's the easiest one to talk about. When it's cold out, okay, my dogs specifically, every single one of them, they got shoes and they got jackets to wear that covers not only their body but their legs. And if I could find some, I'll get them some little hats to wear or whatever. That's their clothes. Abby doesn't need that much because she has a shit ton of hair. She's a husky. She's fine. With me, I usually during the winter time I'll wear the hell are they called again, Duke? Oh, I wear thermals as a base layer, and then I'll wear 2 shirts over it, pair of pants, and then I have a M60 field jacket that has a newer Army quilt jacket that goes inside of it. And then if I have it, I have Army winter pants. I don't remember what I did with them. That usually will keep the rain and stuff off, the rain and the snow. And then I also have Carhartt beanie hats and stuff like that. That's usually how I keep the weather off me. And usually when we're riding freight trains, this is any weather really, but when we're riding freight trains, if the train, I'll put it this way, if the engine is over here and we're going this way, okay, and I'm over here, I'm going to be facing this way. Because if the train's going this way, if the engine's facing that way, the wind is going to be going in this direction. So if I'm riding mostly gondolas or whatever, and they got those good porches at the end, and especially when it's wintertime, you do not want to be riding on this end over here. You want to ride on this end, facing the other direction, because if you're riding on that end, you got all that cold air hitting you. Even if you have all that stuff on, it gets so cold when you're on the trains that I remember hearing stories when I was younger how people riding trains, especially when they're sitting in the actual direction of the engine, they get frostbite on their fingers and other sorry. Anyways, they get frostbite on their fingers and other parts of their body because they're either not prepared for it or it's literally just that cold. So I usually try to face in the opposite direction because I don't want that cold hitting us. I mean, we're still going to get hit regardless, but we're not going to get hit that much. Now, let's see. And that goes really with the same thing with rain. You want to sit in that opposite direction so you don't get hit with the rain, because if you get hit with the rain, especially the last couple of days that we've been out here walking on the side of the highway, the last 3 or 4 nights we've been hit with rain, and I had to sleep without my blankets or anything because everything got wet. And if everything's getting wet, I can't sleep. Same thing when you're on the train. Now with heat, the heat's not. Whoa, sorry. Anyways, the heat's not that bad. If it's summertime, I normally try to ride during the night. There's really nothing else to explain on that. I just usually try to ride during the night to get the dogs out of the heat. If you need medical attention, how do you go about getting help? I've learned early on, especially when I volunteered as a firefighter for a little bit, that when you're out in the middle of nowhere, or if you're out like in a active zone where there's you're out trying to find people during search and rescue and all that, you have to be your own doctor. You have to be your own doctor. I can't talk, okay? I carry 2 different medical kits. I carry a big one about this size. I don't feel like grabbing it right now. That's mainly used for stings, bites, anything small like first-degree burns. anything related to cuts and scrapes and stuff like that. But then I also have tourniquets I carry with me, and then um, also have bleed stop packets. If I get stabbed or shot or whatever, I have packets that will clot the blood up that will actually stop me from bleeding. But then I also carry a smaller version of that I don't have it on me right now, but it would normally go on my belt. So if I lose my big kit, I still have my smaller kit to carry with me. You have to be your own doctor because a lot of times you might not even have the money to be able to go to the hospital. And that's not just with myself, that's with the dogs too. So I haven't got one yet, but I am trying to make a kit for all three of them because eventually they're going to carry their own backpacks and stuff like that. And they're all going to have their own kits with them. So if one of them is either, if Duke got a broken leg and we're out in the middle of nowhere, I got to take care of his leg until I can get to a vet. So outside of that, I take care of all of our medical needs, with the exception of my teeth, obviously. You know, that kind of sucked. But yeah, by the way, all my teeth are fine. Thank God. They took out the last two over here. Number 11, if you know the chart, number 11 had this huge hole in it. And when they tore it out, it was probably about the size of my whole, if you see it, part about the size of my whole nail right here on my thumb. That's how big that hole was. And then number 14 over here was basically the same, but the whole inside of it, they said that when they took it out, they wouldn't let me see it because they considered it a biohazard, so I didn't even get to look at it. But they had to cut it up in three different pieces, and when they tore it out, the whole hey, stop, the whole inside of the tooth, and this is one of the really big ones back here, was completely like mush, and it basically looked like pus from a cyst pocket. And I think that's where, God damn it, I think that's the reason why it always hurt so much was all that stuff. They said when they found it, when they took it out, there's literally not bone, fragments of the tooth swimming around in this goo or whatever it was, and the root, not the root, the what the hell is it? The nerve was literally right in the middle of it, and they said every time when you're chomping down and that stuff is moving, that's the reason why it hurt. Because when I was especially the last couple months when I'm trying to eat, every time if I accidentally ate on this side, because I was usually eating on my right hand side, if I actually hit, if I was shooting on my left side, it felt like somebody just hit me in the back of the head with a baseball bat. It hurt that much. Candy cane, please what? Please what? Anyways, so yeah, outside of that, I take care of all of our medical stuff. I normally I got two books over here that deals with medical stuff that I read. um, I usually try to keep myself updated on it. So let's see, what was her last question? How do you bathe on the road? So I my food bucket over here is a 5 gallon bucket. Okay. Not only is it my food bucket, but it's also my bathing bucket. So I'll go out if we're camped under a bridge or if we're along a river or whatever. We'll go. I'll take all our food out, and then I'll go to the river, fill it up with water, regardless of what's in it, and that's my bathing water. It goes back to basically answer one of the older questions. The reason I love the homebunny lifestyle, this is the ultimate freedom. Okay, when you have when you have no bills, no insurance, no rent, nothing to pay, and you can freely sleep outside, you can bathe, you can eat whatever you can get your hands on. That's why I like this lifestyle. I could fill this 5 gallon bucket up right now, and I can go bathe if I wanted to, and nobody can stop me for the most part. So that's really how we bathe. I carry like 3 or 4 bars of soap I do believe in trying to keep clean. You know, you don't want to go up to a church or a business or whatever that you're trying to get work from and smell like you just been in the horse stable all day, you know. So, anyways, yeah, I carry a couple of washcloths, about 4 bars of soap, simple stuff like that. So that will do with the YouTube questions I got. On the other side, I have what's called the FAQ. Obviously, that's frequently asked questions. And these are questions that are normally asked by people when I'm on the road, you know. And not all of them, but some of them, stuff like that. How do you keep your phone charged? What is your electrical, what's your electrical system? So I got 9 of these right here, different sizes. I got 9 different power banks I use. Okay. I try to keep these charged as much as possible. And some of them I find under bridges, others I buy. And then where's it at? Right here, holding my phone up, I have a Red Cross radio that they gave me when I first signed up. Has a solar panel on it to charge phones, but then it also has a hand crank. So even if I lost these batteries over here, I still got this hand crank. But the ultimate phone charging device is this. This is probably one of the best solar panels I have ever used. I love this. Goal Zero solar panels are amazing. I think I paid like $65 to get this over in I can't remember the name of the town now, but we were out in Colorado recently, and I ended up stopping at one of the stores and got this for like $65. This is awesome. It's worth it. It is amazing, and it charges really fast too. I love it. So that's how I get my electrical stuff. Second one, have you tried the military? Obviously, I've already talked about that. They won't let me. Fallout 3 or Fallout 4? Fallout 4 is the best in my opinion because it is the only one where I feel like it's the closest thing to reality, and to an extent. Okay, the fact that you get to build stuff or whatever you want, you get to download all these mods. The people complain about the story all the time, but I feel like Fallout 4 is the best Fallout game. 3 is fine. I don't mind it. I actually enjoy it, but I enjoy Fallout 4 better. I enjoy it more than Fallout New Vegas. I know, kill me later. Best state you've ever been in? Ooh, that's hard. Best state. I would have to say, probably Illinois. Only because it's one of the only states where I don't get messed with often. And I mean, you can literally camp on the side of the highway for days and people won't do anything about it. It's really amazing. And there's just I don't know what it is. I feel like a lot of the towns in Illinois are either abandoned or have abandoned parts to them, and they're fun as hell to explore. That's where I did that abandoned school I did. I did a video of that back in 2017 when I had Xena. Over in, I can't remember the name of the town. Duke, what's the name of that witch town? Whatever. Anyways, yeah, Illinois would probably have to be one of my favorite states to travel in. Is it hard to travel with 3 dogs? No. Sorry. Anyways, no, it's really not hard. It's really not that hard when you realize that you don't even have to hitchhike anymore and you can just walk down the highway. I mean, my dogs are tied to the wagon. So, excuse me one second. Hate being congested. Ugh. I'm trying, Mom. I'm trying. Grab a trash can real quick. Ugh, that sucks. Okay, anyways. It's really not that hard. I usually keep the dogs tied up to the wagon. And the wagon's usually heavy enough where I can still pull it, but they can't pull it by themselves. So, and considering everything goes in our wagon, food, bedroll, everything, you know, the wagon is basically our home. What, you and Cooter are not? No. We haven't been friends for almost a year, and I'll explain why in a minute. What was I saying? Anyways, the wagon is basically our home. It carries everything we need, as long as I have what I need in that wagon and we're walking down the highway, the next town. As long as even the town's like 50 miles away, as long as we got everything we need, I'm fine. Why do you dumpster dive and what do you find? Dumpster diving. I haven't dated in years. I don't even know who the hell he's with. All right, I'll explain it. I think it was the week after I got cross-tied. And I'm not going to talk bad about him. I miss being with Cooter. He was a really cool guy. But something happened. I don't know what the hell it was. We were literally one town away from each other. We were supposed to meet up. We were going to go back on the road. He's the one who helped me get cross-tie. He was helping me trying to find a second dog to have. He found cross-tie on Craigslist or whatever. He's the reason I have cross-tie. Okay? I don't know what the hell happened. I must have misunderstood something he said. He told me, I think like 2 weeks prior, that I'll get to the dumpster dive in a minute. Hold on. I think 2 weeks prior, he had told me for a whole week he was going to be working for his uncle or whatever. And I had thought that was the week prior to all this bullshit going on. My phone got destroyed thanks to Marmaduke. He bumped into me and it dropped out of my hand and damn screen shattered. So I ended up having to get another one. And when I got this next phone, excuse me, I realized because Cooter had two different numbers. He had one from Alabama, I think, and then one from Texas. And I realized I had missed calls from his Texas number. So I called him a couple times within like, I think 30 to 45 minutes. The next thing I know, and I wish Bruce was on here because he saw the screenshot of this. I don't want to get into that, what people have mental wise, unless it's myself. It's not my business to tell anybody's, mental issues, whether he does or not. I don't want to get into that. That's not my place to talk about. Basically, apparently what had happened was I supposedly had called him too many times, which was really not normal because we talked almost every day, I mean, he was almost to an extent, I looked up to him as a father because he was really the only friend I had on the road, I mean, I traveled with him through a pretty good portion of the country. I trusted him with my stuff, with my dogs. I would bring him out to, I brought him out to my house I had in Texas. When his stuff got stolen, I gave him a bunch of stuff to have so he would have a pack and food and all this other stuff. Apparently, I somehow had caused him to to lose his job with his uncle or whoever it was he was working with, and cussed me out, blocked my number, blocked me on Facebook, and then a friend of mine, actually it was Gringo himself and a few others, they sent me screenshots of him talking shit about me and then said that he hopes I OD. Well, I don't know how the hell I'm going to OD because I don't take drugs and I don't drink. I've never been a user. Yeah, and so, I miss traveling with the guy, but at the same time, I don't trust him anymore. When you say shit like that, and then, uh, you know, especially when you tell somebody that you've traveled with and was supposedly your best friend that you hope they OD, even if he came back and told me that he was sorry and all this other shit, I wouldn't trust him. I don't hope bad will on the guy. I hope he has a nice life, but he's not on the road anymore. I talked to a friend of mine who's still in contact with him. I'll explain that in a minute. Cooter apparently got, I think it was either earlier this year. Yeah, I think it was earlier this year. Cooter got attacked by his next door neighbor. I think he was at his mom's house or somewhere in Alabama. I don't remember where. He got attacked by the next door neighbor and actually got stabbed several times, from my understanding. And apparently one of those stab wounds actually went through his back, and I think it hit his left lung or something. So when that happened, he went to the hospital. He actually killed the guy that did it, which is another reason why I don't want to be around him anymore, because, if he's still holding grudges against me, I don't want to deal with that. It would suck if I had to basically attack my former best friend. I don't want to be in that position. He was, from what I was told, I don't know if this is true, he apparently met a lady in rehab and is actually getting married to her, but I think it's his left lung, from what I was told, is actually failing or failed him or whatever. He can't be on the road anymore. So he's not on the road. I was told he's not on the road. He gave up on that. He's medically not able to do it. And again, he's getting married anyways to this lady. I don't know who it is. Cooter is not on the road, as far as I know, which kind of sucks because he really was a good contributor to this lifestyle. He knew a lot. He did a lot for people, but a lot of stuff in his life behind the scenes, I don't want to go into it. I just think he was going through a lot, and shit just went the way it did. I hate it, but shit happens, I guess. I didn't go to Brit last year or even this year because I don't hate Brit. I'm still friends with a lot of the people. I'm actually still a member. No, I'm actually in a hotel room. I got put up because I just had 2 of my teeth removed yesterday. So they put me in a hotel room afterwards so I could heal, and then they just extended it to Monday, which was really nice. Anyways, I just don't like dealing with Brit. I feel like it's nothing but a carnival now, Yeah, Iowa sucks. I wouldn't say Iowa sucks. I just hate being out there during the heat, especially in August when it's hot as hell. I don't know why they chose August of all places. They could have just fucking chose, I don't know, November or something like that. I mean, I know it's going to be cold, but Jesus Christ, it's better than standing out sweating your ass all day. I just don't like the fact that they make it feel like it's this carnival kind of thing, everybody's got to dress up in a certain way and all this other bullshit. It feels, how do you put it? What's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel traditional. It doesn't feel like what it should be. Yeah, basically, a lot of Ugos show up and make a scene. Yes, that's exactly how it was. I remember. Oh man, um, there's a story I should tell about Boxcar Willie, and so okay, when Boxcar Willie was doing his stick, as I call it, okay, a lot of people ask, was he a hobo? Did he ride? He never rode trains. Boxcar Willie, as far from what I was told by other people who knew him, he never rode freight trains. He got into it because, hey, go lay down. I love you. Go lay down. Thank you. Anyways, he got into the hoboing scene because he was in the Air Force and he met a guy. Hey, you want a hot dog? Yeah? No? Say something. Oh, go lay down. Anyways, basically, he met a guy who was on a freight train outside of the air base. I don't know what base it was. And he was so intrigued by it, but he never rode trains. The story goes from a couple people I know who were there back in the late 80s, early 90s when this shit happened. He had this new album coming out at the time. And to make it, for a publicity or whatever, he went to Brit one year when the album was coming out to promote the album. And he wanted to be Hobo King for publicity. So, but the rules are, even to this day, you have to have ridden trains for like a certain amount of time. And then you have to have somebody to authenticate it. Like, hey, yeah, he actually does ride, yada, yada, yada. He had never written before. And just because your whole music identity revolves around this culture of America where people ride freight trains and shit like that does not mean you're technically part of that culture. So the word is that he got pissed off, have a bunch of Boxcar Willie cassettes. Hold on. Let's see if I can find it. I actually have something from Boxcar that I found at a yard sale several months back. If I can find it. There it is. Yep. I actually have Boxcar Willie on 8-track. Haha. Anyways. He got pissed off that they wouldn't let him be king. They wouldn't even let him run. And he starts cussing all these people out. And they ended up asking him to leave. And then apparently one of our queens, I'm not going to name who it was, but she took some special needs people that she watches, that she's assigned to watch or whatever. And they found, I think he was like at a restaurant or something, and she introduced herself like, hey, I'm one of the queens over at Brit. And he was a complete asshole to her and the others. So I like his music, but if he was alive to this day, I wouldn't meet him. I wouldn't even bother dealing with him. So it's like, why even bother? It was a complete shit show. Yeah, I feel like they took the convention, instead of making it an actual convention where everybody meets and discusses and shit like that, they just turned it into a tourist trap, really. Early morning for us. Good night. All right, love, Mom. Pups, Grandma's going to bed. Anyways, I feel like they turned. Oh, hush. I feel like they turned Brit from this nice convention where everybody would get together and discuss things and do all the usual stuff. They turned it from that to this carnival town sort of deal. It just feels corny as hell, I don't know how else to describe it. I just felt like it was a waste of time after a while. And don't get me wrong, I love a lot of the people there. Our current queen Half Track is a pretty good friend of mine, but outside of that, I just didn't feel like it was worth going to anymore. Why do you okay, so my last question before I end the videos was, why do you dumpster dive and what do you find? I dumpster dive due to the fact that so many people, so many organizations, all these companies, everybody, see, the problem is when you look at all these different countries, United States, Great Britain, Russia, Japan, China, all these different places, right? The United States has to be number one, in my opinion, when it comes to how much waste we have. And I'll put it this way, and this goes with what he was just saying right here in the comments. I got a video of this. If Aaron is on here, if he was on here right now, he would verify this, because I had to call him the next day to come help me get all of this. There was a Dollar General I used to work for about 3 or 4 years ago, and they had threw out 14 bags. We're not talking about the little small bags you can get for like $4 at the time. No, we're talking about big bags of dog food, okay? They threw out 14 bags of large bags of dog food. And I was able to take home some of it. I had to call Aaron and have him help me bring the rest home, because it was so heavy, and I was completely disgusted, because it's like the animal shelter is down the road. But I took all that dog food. This was before Xena got killed. Ugh. I hate being congested, man. I get onions, tomatoes, lots of eggs, so much. Oh yeah, dude, they throw out so many eggs at this one Dollar General. The same Dollar General I was just mentioning. And I got videos of all this too. You go back like 2, 3, 4 years. I got videos of all this where there was this one night I found there really wasn't much in it, but they threw this box of cell phones. Cell phones. I'm talking about smartphones, flip phones. There was this tablet in there. All this different stuff. They had a smartwatch. They had all this different stuff. That it was returns. You should do a TikTok. You make so much money. Love streaming, making content. I thought about it. I just don't know if I want to get involved in that, especially since they don't really seem, from my understanding at least, and it's probably different now, but I thought about doing TikTok. The problem is I was looking at a lot of the controversial stuff on it, and just the fact that a lot of the kids get away with doing this sexual stuff on TikTok. Not even going to go into details of what I've read, but it's disgusting. I don't know if I want to be involved with a platform where they allow that stuff, because it goes against my morals on that kind of deal. Kids shouldn't be doing that shit. But it's like if you have terms of service, then enforce your terms of service. Don't be fucking letting kids do that shit. I might do TikTok. I don't know. I do have an account. I just never bothered making videos and shit. But I might do it. I know Anywhere Man. He made a lot of good views on TikTok, and I might actually do that. It sounds like it's a better alternative than YouTube. But anyways, I found all these different phones and tablets and shit like that. I think I made a couple $100 just selling all that shit. Yeah, Troy is pretty cool. I was supposed to meet him, I think last year or earlier this year, but when that stuff with Cooter happened, because he's friends with Cooter, I think still to this day. And I wasn't sure where he was gonna lie, where he lied on all that. Not lied, but like where he was with all that stuff. So I haven't talked to Troy in a while. I need to. I miss talking to him a lot. I might get a hold of him in a couple of days. I miss talking to him. But I found all that stuff, and then well, yeah, I guess that's true. I didn't think about it at the time. I've been meaning to get a hold of him. I don't know. look, my phone doesn't have Wi-Fi, so when you're on the side of the road walking, the last thing on your mind is trying to get on YouTube or whatever. I'm more focused on trying to get on to the next town. But yeah, I'll probably get a hold of him again. Maybe we can meet up somewhere down the line. Talk it out or whatever. But I remember, I know there's other stuff I find. I find boxes full of food. Eggs, as I just mentioned, which is fucking fantastic in my mind. It's like shit. Now I don't have to buy any eggs for a while. We find stuff all the time: candy, eggs. Um, Tell us about the hot woman you met on the road. Any No, I don't do the dating stuff. I don't care about it. My main focus is my dogs. That's all I care about. I don't care about dating. I don't care about. I Let me phrase that. I did try the date recently. I think that's probably what you're talking about. We met up in, what was it? Quincy, Illinois. And she had posted on Squat the Planet, which, by the way, that's gonna be going down at the end of the years. The guy who runs it, he's taking it offline after Christmas. She had posted on there that she's homeless, but she wants to go into traveling and all this other shit. And I said, well, is there a way that she had a little bit of money? I didn't have any money at the time. I didn't know what her experience was. I didn't know, but we talked for a couple of days and she agreed, hey, let's meet over in Quincy because there's an Amtrak over there. And Quincy's actually a pretty nice town, I'll admit. I actually like that town. But she says, yeah, we'll meet over in Quincy. And I was supposed to, show her how to actually hobo. What I did not expect, and I don't say this to be mean, okay? Let me say that real quick. I just never thought about this until I actually met her. But man, I'm gonna sound like an asshole saying this shit. She's big. She was big enough where she didn't look, big, but she was big enough where she could not really walk, not even half a mile down the road. She wasn't healthy. She ate a lot from what I can tell, which I know that sounds hurtful, but it's the truth, and then like we would walk, like I said, like quarter to a half mile down the road, and she just could not keep up, and I wanted to date her. I thought about it. We talked about it, but we stayed outside for a couple of days, and then her parents, mind you, she was 23 at the time, okay? Her parents found out what she was doing, and she's from all the way up in, like, I think Wisconsin or something. And long story short, her parents found out what she's doing. They tell her that they don't approve of it. I'm like, well, why do they care? They're the ones that kicked you out of the house. And that was when I found out she had very bad mental issues that I'm not going to go into. But they're like, you don't know this guy. Yeah, and that's true. I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I feel bad about it, but at the same time, it is true. When you can't walk a certain amount of miles, like, who's that guy? Oh, Onision, that asshole. He used to be big on YouTube. I remember years ago that fucker came out with a video because apparently he was in the Air Force and he took SEER training. And this motherfucker could not even walk around with a fucking, I think this was when the Molly packs were just coming out. He could not even fucking walk around with a goddamn Molly pack, and he's bigger than me, okay? I'm only 5'2". I barely got any muscles on my arms. He could barely walk around with a fucking Molly pack, let alone an Alice pack, and he's bitching him on it. Oh, I can't drink this water. I can't use this pack. I can't do this. I can't do that. Motherfucker, I could walk so many goddamn miles with a wagon, a fucking pack on my back, and 3 goddamn dogs, And you could barely fucking get through a YouTube video without looking like you're about to pass out, motherfucker. So yeah, I hate dealing with people like that. It's funny as fuck, but it's like, Jesus Christ, half these people are fucking pussies. I'm sorry. I don't know. You know what? I question myself. That's one of the reasons I don't do live videos that much, is because nobody really engages. I almost had 2,000 followers on YouTube, and then Facebook fucking took like 700 or 800 fucking followers away because apparently, supposedly, they were bot accounts or some bullshit. It pisses me off. Honestly, sometimes. Well, I know you have, but so has so many other people, and nobody wants to interact with me. And sometimes, I'll be honest, sometimes it's like, why do I even bother doing this? You know, it's like I'm putting out all these videos, and I know there's a certain amount of people that like what I do, but it's like, you know, well, I'm from Lufkin. You know, I spent the rest of my childhood there until I left at 17. My mother actually owns, my biological mother, she owns the roller rinks in Lufkin and Nacogdoches. And then Tyler, Texas, I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't like Tyler. It's too big for me. But yeah, it's like, why even have a YouTube channel? Because I only have 1.31 thousand subscribers. You would think I might get more. Nah, I'm not a Spanger. It's too big for me. You know what I do like though, is that old rail line that used to go from Tyler up to Mineola. We were there. You might have saw it actually. I remember when I first started, and the first time I went to Tyler back in 2015. Oh, get out of here! No. There's no way. Tyler's so full of bums. There's no way. Are you serious? 300 in a day? Jesus. Lucky. But I remember back in 2015, this line was completely clean. You could walk down it and go all the way. You could go like 3 or 4 miles north, Christian Town, man, new face, hit the traffic, Nah, I don't know, not my thing. Like I said, I don't do laziness. I don't do spanging. I don't do laziness. Anyways, before I wrap this up, I'll give it about another 20 minutes, and then I'll go ahead and wrap the video up. But yeah, it just doesn't make sense. It's like, why keep a YouTube channel going? And I told people last year, I said, look, I'm on the verge of quitting YouTube because I don't make money off of this. You know, even like my highest view count on a single video, which sadly was my second stove video when I was updating everybody, it was only 55,000 views. And it sucks because it's a stove video. But at the same time, it's like, if I supposedly have all these, subscribers and view counts and shit like that, I should be having more interaction. No, for the most part, nobody really wants to interact with me most of the time. Unless it's like some video where I'm asking for help or opinions or whatever, nobody wants to fucking interact with me. And it kind of sucks. It's like, why do I even bother doing this? So I don't know. I'm willing to give the channel at least the rest of the year to see how it goes. If it stays like this at the beginning of next year, I just might I don't know if I'll take the channel down, but I'll at least not post on it anymore. Well, yeah, it is good documentation, and I might keep. I didn't think about that really, but still, I don't know. I just wish I had more public interaction. That would be nice. I gotta take a leak real quick. Give me a second. Dude, talk to the people. Here, hey, here, up here. Here, there you go. Talk to the people. You could have someone in 10 years saying, that's an old. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Here, talk to the people. I gotta take a leak, okay? Stay here. Stay. food. Alright, anyway, sorry about that. What was I saying? But, anyways, yeah, I need to look into, how people make money on TikTok. That actually might help a little bit. I could probably make that a full-time job, if possible. If Crosstie over here would stop barking at everybody. Jerk. Look at that. One person only. That sucks. Oscar, I'm surprised you're still here, to be honest. Well, unless anybody else got any more questions, I'm going to call it a night. Watch TV for the rest of the day. Y'all can't have this. Well. Yeah, I'm going to go call it a night. Thanks for being here, everybody. Oscar, Alex, my mother, adopted mother, I should say. Everybody, it was nice seeing everybody. I'm going to try, if I feel like I can do it. If people would just keep giving me questions, I would love to answer them. But stop. I would try to do this maybe a once a month thing if possible. I want to at least try to do it on the first week of every month. And then maybe have some special, I don't know, YouTube specials or whatever. Would be nice. Anyways, I think they need to go outside, so I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. I'll see y'all later. Peace. Whoa, almost dropped phone.